Good evening. It is now almost 11 p.m. where I'm at, and I'm not going to waste your time trying to make this video any longer than it is, just to get the airtime for the money. I want to get this out to you, so we'll just jump right in and have it read for us here.
Four detainees escaped from the Delaney Hall Immigration Detention Facility in Newark, New Jersey, on Thursday, June 12, 2025, after breaking through an interior wall that led to an exterior one, allowing them to reach a parking lot. The Department of Homeland Security, DHS, confirmed the escape, noting that additional law enforcement partners have been brought in to locate the missing detainees. The incident occurred amid unrest and protests at the facility, with reports of disorder and criticism of Trump-era detention policies. As of Friday, June 13, 2025, the detainees remain unaccounted for, and DHS and the FBI are offering a $10,000 reward for information leading to their arrest.
$10,000 a piece, that is. And there's another thing I want to get right out of the way, right quick. I got a private message from somebody telling me that I had to be more dynamic when I'm doing these videos so that I could engage my audience. Okay, well, first of all, I don't have much of an audience. And second of all, God bless the inventor of menthol. I'm not going to deliberately try to push people's buttons or make them angry. That's just not me. I'm not going to do that. If you want to know this stuff, then, by all means, tune in. Happy to have you. Give us a share or a like, subscribe, follow us on the channel here. That would help a great deal. But I'm not gonna tweak people. I'm not gonna pander to that. So I'm sorry. I just wanted to get that out of the way. Back to this here. $10,000 leading to their arrest. It's $10,000 a piece.
On June 12, around 50 detainees at Delaney Hall launched a protest over poor conditions, particularly delayed and insufficient meals. During the unrest, they broke through a weak drywall partition that allowed four men to flee into a parking lot. The interior wall had only drywall and mesh, directly leading to an exterior wall that could be breached. Authorities identified the four escapees, 2 Honduran and 2 Colombian men, all of whom had criminal records. Franklin Norberto Bautista Reyes, Honduras, arrested May 3 for aggravated assault and weapons offenses. Joel Enrique Sandoval Lopez, Honduras, charged in 2024 for handgun possession, and in early 2025 for aggravated assault. Joan Sebastian Castaneda Lozada, Colombia, arrested May 15 for burglary and conspiracy. Andres Felipe Pineda Mogollon, Colombia, held for larceny and burglary in April-May. 2 escapees, Sandoval Lopez and Castaneda Lozada, have been recaptured as of today, June 15. 2 remain at large, Bautista Reyes and Pineda Mogollon. A $10,000 reward is being offered for information on each.
Just want to get this highlighted. Each and every single one of these individuals has already been arrested for a crime. Okay, coming over the border illegally, first of all, is a crime. That's an arrestable crime, and the penalty for that is and always has been deportation. That's the law. Now, been people saying, well, it's against the Constitution. They've already had their days in court. If you're listening here, you can see where they've had their days in court. They have crimes that have been identified that they've actually been involved in or linked to. And so they've had their days in court. Now they're just waiting to be sent away. Okay, where to? That's going to be up to them. Believe it or not, it's up to them. because once they're out of the country, they can go wherever they want to. And if they come back in, well, they're going to be rearrested again, and their stay in the Hooskow might be a little bit longer.
Delaney Hall is operated by GEO Group under a $1 billion federal contract signed in May 2025. The facility has come under scrutiny for food shortages. Detainees reported receiving only one meal a day during the unrest. For medical care, no communication allowed with family or legal counsel during lockdown. Newark Mayor Ras Baraka criticized the lack of oversight and called for an independent investigation.
And there should be an investigation. If they're being denied food or proper medical care for any reason, that has to be divulged. That would have to be a matter of public record. This detention facility is receiving public funds. That means everything they do is a matter of public record. And they may try to redact reports, like bury reports, but they do have to make the reports. If they don't make the reports, then then some of them are going to be, in some sort of legal trouble, to be sure.
Advocates are calling for the closure of Delaney Hall, citing long-standing concerns over civil rights abuses. C Standards and Accreditation. GEO maintains accreditation from the American Correctional Association, ACA, and the National Commission on Correctional Health Care, meaning their operations food services included are internally monitored against national correctional and health standards. ICE's Performance-Based National Detention Standards, PBNDS, apply. These specify dining hall operations, nutritional quality, special diets, and sanitation. GEO states its services are monitored by ICE and other DHS organizations to ensure strict compliance. Independent oversight and audits. ACA accreditation requires recurring independent reviews covering food service practices. ICE regularly audits facilities like Delaney Hall under contract compliance protocols. However, local officials and activists argue inspections have been blocked. Newark unsuccessfully sued to gain inspection and access, including for detainee attorneys and city representatives.
I want to know, how is it that these oversight committees that are supposed to have access now, they are supposed to have access. That's the law. That's part of the agreement. That's what was in the contract. That is what is according to mandates to make sure that people are treated properly. How can you sue? First of all, why would you have to sue to do the oversight if that's your job? They're supposed to be allowed to do it. Secondly, how could you sue for the right to do what you're supposed to be doing according to the law now and lose? I don't understand that. Something's going on. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to accuse anybody of anything, but something's definitely going on.
Reports of failures. Despite these formal safeguards, multiple reports cast serious doubt on proper implementation. ICE detainees at Delaney Hall protested on June 12 to 13th, citing 20 hours without meals, followed by meager rations such as bread, suggesting gross violations of PBNDS.
Just bread. That's a complaint now, right? That's a complaint. It doesn't mean it's true. Doesn't mean it's false. It's a complaint. Now, if it is true, whoever gave that order for those people to have just bread, they ought to be clapped in irons, as far as I'm concerned. People have to eat. You have to eat. You go too long without food, you know what happens? You're gone. You're dead. Finished. You go 3 days without water. You're done. You're finished. So, yeah, somebody should be looking into this.
Community groups and lawmakers have accused GEO of cutting corners. Slack oversight and rushed construction left the facility in poor shape, impacting everything from food access to sanitation. Oversight structures, GEO Group. Plans, purchases, prepares, and serves meals. ACA and health accreditation. Internal plus ICE audit. ICE/DHS. Contract GEO. Responsible for contract compliance. Performance-based standards. Unannounced inspections. Newark officials and advocates. Press for external oversight and inspections. Lawsuits and public campaigns for transparency. Bottom line, while GEO is formally contracted and accredited to manage food services, persistent reports of underfeeding and disrupted meals suggest serious gaps between policy and practice. Independent oversight has been limited, and local pressure is mounting for inspections and reforms. ICE PBNDS and food service requirements. 3 meals daily, 2 hot. Facilities must serve 3 nutritionally balanced meals per day, with at least 2 being hot, and ensure no more than 14 hours pass between dinner and breakfast. SAC. To go. Meals are required outside meal hours, for example transfers, lockdowns to meet daily nutritional minimums. Nutrition planning and oversight. A food services administrator, FSA, is tasked with menu planning, staff training, procurement, and quality control. Quarterly menu reviews by food service staff and annual nutritional analysis by a registered dietitian ensure meals meet or exceed U.S. dietary guidelines. Strict safety and sanitation. Food prep and serving must follow the FDA food code and local standards. Temps must be maintained. Hot foods greater than or equal to 135 degrees Fahrenheit, cold less than or equal to 41 degrees Fahrenheit, and food shields, gloves, sanitized utensils, and covered carts are mandatory. There are strict rules on cross-contamination, pest control, trash disposal, and hazardous material storage. Security and food operations. Staff must supervise detainee food workers during prep/service, with strict protocols for utensils and controlled items. Detainees working with knives or hot items require training and must meet health screenings. Accommodations for special needs.
Well, I think that giving detainees knives probably not a good idea. I mean, I'm just going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say that that's probably not the best policy. If they want to prepare meals, have all the stuff brought in to prepare the meals that's already cut. Have it already cut up. What's the problem with that? You know, have the chopped stuff chopped, have the sliced stuff sliced. That way they don't have to handle anything more than a spoon or a pair of tongs. You know, still have to wear the gloves, wear the masks. That's important.
Menus must reflect religious, cultural, medical, and civilian dietary needs. For example, halal, kosher, vegetarian, pregnancy. Religious meals require planning with chaplains and will include properly certified foods.
That's important too. I am an unashamed, happily committed Christian. But I don't care what anybody else's religion is. If their religion says they can't eat this or that, don't make them eat it. That's wrong.
Satellite feeding and segregation. Meals outside the dining hall, such as in housing units or segregation, must be delivered in temperature-controlled containers and meet nutritional guidelines. Oversight and compliance. These rules are outlined in ICE's PBNDS 2011, updated 2016, which apply to dedicated ICE facilities like Delaney Hall. ICE inspection teams and independent auditors check compliance, reviewing menus, kitchen conditions, logs, worker health records, etc. The DHS Office of Inspector General, OIG, has found serious lapses, missing meal logs, expired food, missed meals for people in segregation, all violations under PBNDS. Reported failures at Delaney Hall and beyond. Despite these rigorous standards, several investigations, including OIG audits and local oversight efforts, reveal systemic failures. Detainees at Delaney Hall reported going 20+ hours without regular meals, receiving only meager portions like bread contrary to the PBNDS mandate. In other facilities, inspectors documented expired food, sanitation violations, and inadequate record keeping, especially for those in segregation.
Rotate your stock. I don't care if it's a retail establishment. I don't care if it's a restaurant. I don't care if it's a detention center. I don't care if it's a food truck. Rotate your stock to keep things from becoming expired and ending up in the food chain.
The gap, policy versus practice. While the PBNDS should ensure safe, nutritious food, real-world implementation is inconsistent. 3 meals a day, 2 of them hot. Mandatory. Violation, meals skipped or late. Nutritionist approved menus. Annual review and dietary balance. Violation, lack of oversight. Food safety standards. Temp control, sanitation, pest control. Violation, expired food, and sanitary conditions. Record keeping and segregation. Daily meal logs, health checks. Violation, logs missing and audits. Special diets and sack meals. Required for holidays, lockdowns, medical, religious. Violation, inadequate or unavailable. Next steps for reform, stronger, more frequent inspections by ICE and external bodies could catch violations early. Transparent logs and reporting, particularly regarding meals served, food temps, and special diets. Greater local oversight. Newark officials are pushing for independent inspections and possible contract renegotiation. Bottom line, ICE's food standards under PBNDS are comprehensive and clear, but lapses at Delaney Hall and elsewhere show a failure in enforcement and oversight. Without rigorous, transparent monitoring, detainees continue to suffer substandard and irregular meals.
This is a case of, while the cat is away, the mice will play. And in this case, it's mice that are in charge of all these things. And they're cutting corners to save some money, to put some more money in their pockets. That's usually the common theme with these sorts of things. Now, I'm not making an accusation. What I'm saying is it's most commonly what happens. So I'm not accusing anybody of anything, or anybody gets off on that.
Questions. Who is currently responsible for day-to-day food service quality at Delaney Hall ICE? Geo Group or subcontractors? If Geo subcontracts food prep, transparency may be further diluted. When was the last independent inspection or audit of Delaney Hall's food service?
Says transparency may be diluted. That's just a nice way of saying that you don't get to see what's going on behind the curtain.
And what were the findings?
Okay.
ICE audits and ACA accreditation are supposed to ensure compliance, but records may be outdated or redacted.
Records may be outdated, which means that they haven't given a report on that subject when they should, like the most current. Redacted, which means some of that stuff is going to be blacked out where you can't read it. Why would you do that? Why would you, if it's as simple as food service, why would you do that? That doesn't make any sense.
Have meal logs or food delivery records during the June 12th protest and escape been made public or reviewed? This would verify detainees' claims of going without food for 20 plus hours.
Yeah, think about that. These guys may have escaped for 2 reasons. Well, for more than one reason. But one of those reasons might be they were hungry. Just maybe they were hungry. I'm not saying that is it. What I'm saying is possible if they've been going without food for as long as 20 hours.
Legal and policy compliance. Is Delaney Hall currently compliant with ICE's PBNDS food service standards? If not, who is enforcing accountability? Violations may give detainees or their advocates legal grounds for action.
Yeah, these detainees, they can sue this detention center for bad treatment. How wild is that?
And local or state officials legally inspect the facility under New Jersey law or Newark ordinance? Newark has been denied access, raising federalism and civil rights issues.
Why don't they want them in there? Now, they had some Congress people that did a walkthrough not too long ago after the hoopla at the gate where people were arrested. Now, the one congresswoman, I guess she's being charged with some crimes, but after that, there was like, I don't know, it's like 3 or 4 of them. They did a walkthrough on that same facility, and they said it was clean, it was orderly, it was organized, and the detainee treatment was spot on. So I don't know what changed between then and now, but something must have.
Are there disciplinary mechanisms when PBNDS standards, for example 3 meals/day, special diets, are violated? If ICE or GEO isn't sanctioned, standards are effectively unenforceable. Humanitarian and advocacy questions were any detainees, especially medically vulnerable ones, denied meals or proper nutrition during the lockdown?
Okay, they said that the standards are effectively unenforceable. They're not unenforceable by lawful standards. They're unenforceable by contract. You got me. I am not a lawyer. I am not a contract expert. And I didn't look it up. So I don't know. Any of you guys want to know? If you find out, if you go find out, then you can drop that in the comments for us. But like I say, you need to know something. It's important to you. Go find out. I'd like to know that, but I just didn't look into it.
This could indicate 8th Amendment or ADA violations. Have any detainees filed grievances or lawsuits over food quality or access at Delaney Hall? Formal complaints can trigger investigations or public pressure. Are detainees involved in meal preparation supervised adequately, and are they compensated fairly? Many ICE facilities use unpaid or underpaid labor, which advocacy groups equate with forced labor. Why was the Delaney Hall contract renewed for $1 billion despite previous concerns and lawsuits? Raises broader questions about the GEO Group's relationship with DHS and contract vetting. Broader impact. What patterns of food-related neglect have been reported at other GEO-run ICE facilities nationwide? Evidence of systemic issues could prompt congressional or legal review. Does ICE or DHS have an independent ombudsman or hotline where detainees can report food problems anonymously and safely? If not, detainees may be too afraid to speak out. Broader impact. What patterns of food-related neglect have been reported at other GEO-run ICE facilities nationwide? Evidence of systemic issues could prompt congressional or legal review. Does ICE or DHS have an independent ombudsman or hotline where detainees can report food problems anonymously and safely? If not, detainees may be too afraid to speak out. Broader impact. What patterns of food-related neglect have been reported at other GEO-run ICE facilities nationwide? Evidence of systemic issues could prompt congressional or legal review. Does ICE or DHS have an independent ombudsman or hotline where detainees can report food problems anonymously and safely? If not, detainees may be too afraid to speak out. 2013 ODO Review, Delaney Hall, Newark. The ICE Office of Detention Oversight, ODO, conducted an unannounced inspection in January 2013. Inspectors reviewed food prep, storage, sanitation, diet trays, temperature logs, and grievances. Findings indicated compliance with PBNDS, cold/hot food temp controls, pest-free environment, and medically accredited staff handling food, a solid baseline, despite reviews being over a decade old.
The reviews are over a decade old, but they're saying that it's okay. I mean, if a report is over a decade old for anything, say maybe somebody ought to go in and start looking around again. That's just my opinion. But I thought I would call all of this to your attention and give you some food for thought, give you some things to go find out. So, yeah, please just give us a like, give us a share, subscribe if you feel so inclined. At least follow us. That way you'll know when new things pop up. If nothing else, right? But thank you for your time. And God bless you. God bless America.